Welcome back. You are watching this special edition of the Chamwada Report right from New York City, where world leaders converge to discuss the Sustainable Development Goals that are a continuation of the Millennium Development Goals, key among them to fight poverty and protect the environment. Part 2 of the show begins right now. The most important goal is to end poverty in all its forms everywhere. Goal number 2 is to end hunger and achieve food security. Goal 3, ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages.
In some parts of sub-Saharan Africa, child and maternal mortality are rising.
Elijah Zachary will be a young man of 27 years. What will reaching the Sustainable Development Goals mean in shaping his life? As a 12-year-old boy living with HIV, he has some strong ideas.
This is my mother. She has been my mentor since I was born. She's the one whom I love so dearly. She disclosed to me my status when I was 6 years old, early enough to understand. I told her, "Mom, it's okay, and the Lord is with us." What really bothers me is stigma and discrimination. In my country, things have changed just a little bit in communities and health facilities, thanks to our President of Kenya. But in schools, the teachers still don't seem to understand. They don't know how to differentiate HIV from AIDS. They still think that HIV is a bad disease. And yet, HIV is not a disease. HIV is a virus. Can you imagine? My best friend, her mother told her not to play with me just because of my HIV status. And that makes me feel bad. We are children, we have rights, and we have a future. My dream is that by the time I am 27 years old, there shall be no more stigma, and I shall be pursuing my doctorate or master's as a scientist. And that if the cure will not be there yet, at least I shall be taking my ARV medication every day on time. And this is my wish for all other HIV-positive children in the world. Presidents, thank you for making the promise to end AIDS by 2030. But if we are really going to end AIDS by 2030, we must make sure that all the children living with HIV must be on their medication for their whole life. Please keep your promise. Thank you all for listening to me, and may God bless you all.
Goal 4, ensure inclusive and equitable quality education. Goal 5, achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls.
The ultimate goal of my campaign is to ensure that mothers in Kenya give birth safely and that their children's lives and health are assured.
Goal number 6 under the Sustainable Development Goals is to ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all, while Goal 7 is to ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable and modern energy for all.
Clean energy means that energy that will not harm the environment. Like I just mentioned, fossil fuel, which is also a natural energy. The reason is that it cannot replenish itself in the short time. While clean energy, like solar energy, every day we have solar. Wind energy, it has the capacity of replicating itself quickly. That's why we call it clean. It doesn't finish like the fossil fuel is finishing very soon. Charcoal, the coal, I know that Kenya has discovered a lot of coal. It's also being seen as not clean because it will also pollute the environment. So a clean energy like solar, wind, hydro, and also geothermal do not really have a direct negative impact on the environment.
The eighth goal under the new Sustainable Development Goals is to promote inclusive and sustainable economic growth. Goal 9 is to promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization and foster innovation.
We also need to do more to promote micro, small and medium enterprises, support entrepreneurship, especially for women and youth, and enhance the contribution of the private sector and other stakeholders' sustainable development.
Now, the 10th goal of reducing inequality within and among countries is among the most talked about already. Is it just an ambition on paper? Can nations be equal? And how?
So indulge me when I say that we will never achieve our goals if we do not squarely confront several insidious threats to the dignity and well-being of people around the world. No matter how much hard work is done by development agencies, no matter how large the donations and commitments that are made by donor countries, if we don't take care of some other elements of development, we will not meet the goals that we've set. Number one, development is threatened by bad governance. Today, we affirm what we know to be true from decades of experience. Development and economic growth that is truly sustainable and inclusive depends on governments and institutions that care about their people, that are accountable, that respect human rights and deliver justice for everybody and not just some. So in the face of corruption that siphons billions away from schools and hospitals and infrastructure into foreign bank accounts, governments have to embrace transparency and open government and rule of law. And combating illicit finance must be a global effort because it is part of our development effort. And citizens and civil society groups must be free to organize and speak their mind and work for progress, because that's how countries develop. That's how countries succeed.
Goal number 11 aims at making cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. Goal 12 is to ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns.
We believe in good time, Kenya is going to be one of the best irrigated countries on the African continent. Of course, after Egypt, Sudan, and South Africa, we intend to be in the top 5 through such interventions that we're putting in place here in Galana and also in other parts of the country.
Goal 13 is a rallying call for nations to take urgent action to combat climate change and its impact. Goal 14 is to conserve the oceans. Goal 15 is also about the protection of the environment. Goal 16 is about peace and justice for all. In his remarks, Pope Francis delved into the threats this goal faces, especially power that is used badly.
It must never be forgotten that political and economic activity is only effective when it is understood as a prudential activity, guided by a perennial concept of justice, and consciously conscious of the fact that above and beyond our plans and programs, We are dealing with real men and women who live, struggle and suffer, and are often forced to live in great poverty and deprived of all rights.
That brings us to the end of the show, a special edition from New York City. We discussed why world leaders are calling for one voice in the implementation of sustainable development goals, key among them the fight against poverty and protection of the environment. And on behalf of the crew, I'm Alex Chamwada.